All right, the Detroit Lions have an under-the-radar trade that I'm thinking needs to happen. We just talked about a big trade that I'm kind of like, yeah, this would be kind of nice. All right, we talked about that with the Giants, get some defensive end help, but a big part of having a team that can get to that next level is having those rotational pieces, those depth pieces that are exactly what you want of them. And there's a trade of a guy that we all wanted to draft just a couple of years ago that I think could absolutely be coming around. Hey, hope you can see it. We got the Amon-Ra St. Brown. The reason I'm wearing this shirt today is because Madden just announced that this celebration is going to be in the game. Can't wait to score a touchdown with Amon-Ra and get him to do the headstand. Maybe I'll do it week 1 against the Packers. Just a little troll job in my living room. I think that would be a blast. But anyways, couple good things. Actually, the person who thought about this is Mike Payton. He's over at A to Z Sports. We've talked with some of the ownership over there. Really, really good guys. If you want another place to get your sports that's not the standard stuff, A to Z actually does a really good job, and I think Mike Payton does a good job too. So for the Lions specifically, there's a lot of places to get news, but if you like reading articles, that's a good spot. Anyways, with all of that being said, he started talking about how the Detroit Lions can look to add tight end Darnell Washington via trade. So here's the thing. If you weren't aware, there was a big trade that went down yesterday. And I'm doing this off the top of my head, so forgive me if I get anything wrong, but it was the Steelers and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are sending Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith and a 7th-round pick to the Steelers, and they are getting back Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 7th-rounder. So Minkah Fitzpatrick obviously was viewed as the best player in that deal, which I completely agree with. I think it was a fair trade all around. I think it helps the Steelers more right away. But that's not what you're here to talk about. You're here to talk about how it could affect the Lions. So now when you are at Pittsburgh, they already have 2 elite tight ends that are going to be starting for them. And so what does that leave for Darnell Washington? Could he now be available in a trade? Would they be willing to do that and possibly get back some draft capital or talent somewhere else in the fold? Could they be looking? We have a lot of, believe it or not, we have a lot of offensive line depth. We actually have a lot of depth at a lot of places, at corner and things like that. Could they be looking for some of that? And could we make a deal to get Darnell Washington in? If you don't remember who Darnell Washington is, all right, he is a guy that's listed currently at 6'6". He's almost 270 pounds. He came out even bigger than that. And what he was just this dude that was an absolute menace coming out of Georgia as a mauling tight end, blocking tight end. What you would view him as is almost a tackle playing tight end. So his role for us would not be this great receiving threat, even though he can catch the ball. All right, that's not what he's going to specialize in. But when you look at him over his 2-year career, what he has done consistently good at, what he's been consistently good at is his blocking skills. We have another channel called Sports Talk Extra where we talk about other teams around the NFL. Don't worry, we always tell them we love the Lions. And what we talked about in that, I did a video, it was on the Raiders, and I talked about how they're going to use Michael Mayer and a lot more 12 personnel, right? Basically, 1 running back, quarterback, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. And in that personnel, it's a very multiple personnel where you can run out of it, you can do things like that. What the Detroit Lions love to do is, hey, reporting eligible, Dan Skipper. We've talked about this over and over and over again. And so here's the thing. I love it because it's like, hey, here's what we're going to do. We are going to run the ball. We are going to smack you in the mouth, right? We're going to report Dan Skipper as eligible, but we're rarely going to pass out of it. And we're going to go from there. All right? And we're going to end up running the ball. So what if you could have a tight end that is just as effective in the pass blocking that also can be an effective pass catcher? So I'm going to show you something. These are blocking grades for Dan Skipper. I'm not going to show you because my computer's all jacked up. So you're just going to have to believe me. I'm so sorry. All right, that's why I'm looking down. I'm reading it. These are the run blocking grades based off PFF for Dan Skipper over his entirety of his career. 55.2, 60. All right, sorry, 49.5, 67, 54, 59, and 54. All right, those are the numbers when he was with Detroit specifically. When you now go look over at Washington, it's a little smaller sample size. His rookie year, he was a 53. So not great. Last year, his run blocking, but remember, he's coming off an injury, rookie year, all that kind of stuff. Last year, his run blocking grade was a 67.2. His pass blocking grade was a 68. A 68. Dan Skipper never put together numbers like that over the course of a season. Darnell Washington was actually a more effective blocker than was Dan Skipper, so you could keep him in. You could be more multiple on offense and do that. That's not the only person I want to compare him to. I think we also need to look at our tight end room. All right, again, my computer's messed up. I forget. I go to click on it. Our best pass and run blocking tight end, believe it or not, last year was Sam Laporta. Remember, we re-signed Brock Wright. The 49ers tried to get him from us. We brought him back because he was good and multiple, and what he could do was pass and run block. That was the whole idea on Brock Wright. Brock Wright's pass blocking grade last year was a 57.7 with a run blocking grade of 52. He was not as effective as we thought. So I think this could absolutely be a good trade for the Lions. Can't wait to see what that could look like, what they could get out of it. Stay tuned to see if it actually happens. But hey, it's fun to think about, and it's the 1st of July. So happy 4th of July coming up. I said I'm going to say this in every video that I do now until the 4th. We'll see if I actually do it. Hey, I'm on St. Brown. Headstand Day is July 1st. Thank you, Madden, for recognizing the greatest celebration in the game. Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.